And I do have relationships. And I remember a guy moving in next door to me. His name was Vance, and actually still is. He moved in next door to me and became my neighbor, and I loved this guy. He would come over to me and he would tell me Mennonite jokes until I was physically sick. He said, Phil, he said, did you know there is conclusive proof that Adam was a Mennonite? I said, Adam, the first man? Yes, he said. I said, how do you know? He said, who else would stand beside a naked woman and be tempted by an apple? That's what he said to me. I said, you don't know the Mennonites I know. But I loved this guy. And we had this great friendship going until the day he came over and he insulted my lawnmower. If you can imagine, I had a perfectly good electric lawnmower. And he said, those are for wimps. You should have a gas-powered lawnmower like mine. A man's lawnmower. Oh, I did not like this. And I especially did not like it when a few weeks later my lawnmower quit so loud you could hear it quitting in Hamilton. And I had to humble myself and go over and knock on my neighbor's door and ask to borrow his lawnmower. Oh, he said, come. And he took me out to the shed, and there was that lawnmower. He said, here, just feel the handlebars, and I did. Oh, it was great. He said, pull the pull start thing, and I pulled it, and it roared to life. It was a great lawnmower. I took it home. I cut our grass in record time in big, wide, manly swaths. And then I took it back, of course, and I returned it. Well, 1 week later, I had to borrow the lawnmower again. Our grass in Alberta grows 2 weeks a year. And so I had to borrow it, and so I did. I went over, and I knocked on Vance's door, but he was not home. I thought, what do I do? I thought, you know what? We are very good friends. I will just borrow it. And so I did, and I took that lawnmower. I went home, and it was going great, these big, wide, manly swaths, until I got to the very back of the backyard, to the stump. This big around, about 2 inches in the air. I thought, last week I went around this stump. This time I will go over it. It needs trimmed anyway. This should not be a problem. Bang! It stopped dead, never to start again. Well, I am not a mechanically minded person like some of you that I admire, but I do like looking at things that are broken. And so I turned it over. And there it was, oil dripping out of it, the crankshaft bent like that. Not a good sign, I am told. I tried to pull the pull start thing, it would not move. Well, what to do? What would you do? I thought, my father told me exactly what to do when I was just a little boy. He said, son, if ever you borrow something, return it. And so I did, and I put it in that little slot beside the shed, and I left on a 5-day business trip to Washington, D.C. I got back from that trip, drove into the driveway, and Vance was waiting there for me. He's bigger than I, taller than I, stronger than I. He said, do you have a flashlight? I said, yes, I do. I went into the house and I got the flashlight. I thought he is going to club me to death with a flashlight. I don't want to die this way. I handed it to him, and he took me out to the stump. It was growing dark, and so he shone the flashlight on that stump. And there it was, ketchup all over the stump. He had poured it there like blood. There was a white spray-painted outline of a lawnmower in the grass beside the stump. And a yellow ribbon police line, do not cross, around the trees. And he said, we have a suspect, he said. And then he took me out to the garden. I am not making any of these stories up. We have pictures to prove it on PowerPoint somewhere. There it was, a mound of earth with handlebars protruding out of it. And a gray brick on top of it. It had computer paper taped to it, and this is what it said. Here lies Mr. Mower, a life so quickly taken, by a hand so quick to take. He will never mow what life had in the grass ahead of him. Well, it's not hard to understand why Vance is one of my very best friends today. You see, if I need to talk to someone who knows how to practice the fine art of forgiveness, I go and I talk to Vance. Vance knows what every good Christian friend knows. If you expect perfection from other people, your entire life is going to be a series of disappointments and grumblings and complaints. Am I right?